Thank you for that, Frank. Excuse my voice. I wanted to come with a loud and vibrant voice. I've got a cold. Happens like that. In my working life, I have changed careers quite a lot. Changed jobs, and I've also changed careers early on. And each time I've done that, I've done it with several sets of emotions. Always regret, always a bit of nervousness, anticipation, but also sadness. And given I have loved being a principal, this particular juncture in my life is one where there is a large element of sadness. When I was originally appointed at Haywood, it was a small country school in Western Victoria. I was in that position, got there under rather unusual circumstances. I have incredibly fond memories of that school, particularly the relationships that I developed with the Koori community there, especially the women, I might say, who collectively nurtured the children of that community. I then moved to Warrnambool College. It was a school that presented very big challenges for me. It had recently been merged as a consequence of the Kennett era. It was a merger of a high and a tech, and a lot of people will know what that means. It had a very large deficit, too many disgruntled staff, and too many dilapidated facilities. The school also had to establish its reputation in the community, and I know that's something that a lot of you are doing with your particular schools. When schools change, it is a big issue for the community to make its decision about what that school represents. I was kept grounded while I was at that school because my 3 less than perfect children also attended the school. And it's one way to really keep your feet on the ground when you are imposing sanctions against your own children because of their misbehaviour. But it was a very good experience for me to have. My last appointment then at Melbourne Girls, many of you would say I've been spoilt as a principal, but that school has had its dramas as well. But I must say the absence of some of the restraints that I'd felt at Haywood and Warrnambool did free me up to push in some new directions, both with curriculum and with facilities developments. So after being a principal for 21 years, I find relinquishing the role hard. And this is because I understand the potency of the role. I think who would be a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer when we lead the organisations that inspire the next generation? I've felt this keenly of late as I've made my departures, and it's overwhelming to realise the degree to which our communities look up to the role of principals. And it convinces me that we should never be scared to lead. It's not just a bureaucratic role where we need to worry about the legal branch. We also need to lead with confidence, with passion. But my biggest passion has not been the 3 individual schools that I've led. It is actually for public education, for public good. And as individuals, I believe we can make a difference in our own schools, but it's with a united voice that we have greater influence. Our schools are different. We're often in very competitive circumstances with each other, and we can be pitted against each other for our share of the resources. And also just managing on a day-to-day basis can be very overwhelming. But we've got to get beyond all this. We've got to think about the challenges that Stephen puts to us. We've got to be the ones ahead of the game. We've got to be the ones who come up with the solutions to all of this. We've got to debate with each other, as we do today in this context. We have to find our common voice and our common perspective. We can only expect to influence government policy if we can articulate this common perspective. And it's not enough for us just to react to what the department is proposing. We really do have to be ahead of the game if we are to shape the future. So I think it's through VASSP that this can happen. It's important to distinguish that we are not an industrial organisation, but a professional one. And our key role is to represent our shared vision for education. So in closing, I want to pay tribute to our departing President, Frank Sell. I have had the opportunity to observe Frank at close quarters as he has represented your views. He's always prepared, never appears ruffled, and has maintained our position, often when very contrary views are expressed. He's been effective in ensuring that policymakers have heard our views, whilst managing to keep communication open, to be respectful and to be without rancour. So I commit under my stewardship of VASSP that your voice will continue to be heard. In the political service that we operate in public education, we often don't get what we want, but we have to make sure that we continue to push our views. So I look forward to working with you, to coming to your groups, to visiting individual schools, and to working closely with our executive and committee and other members of the VASSP community. And as I sat at the front today observing you as a group, I felt, I watched this group of people where I see that there is such talent, such experience and such passion, and I think that public education is in very good hands. So on that note, I invite you to come to lunch. Thank you.